we want to welcome in Steve Greenberg of Greenie Sports Cars. There's no easy way to transition. I'm sorry about this, Steve. I am very sorry about this.
Welcome to this fun, tense conversation here.
I had to at least get that off my chest because it's been weighing on my mind for
some time.
For some time since Monday came around. But of
3
course,
years.
yeah, 3 years.
Again, dude, I was asking these guys earlier, what has been the best time since we traded for Deshaun? When Joe Flacco was playing.
I mean, if you want to take it to when he was playing, it was one half of football in Baltimore.
Ravens, yeah.
One half. That guy, I don't. That's right now. That's the anomaly. That's not the norm or anything like that. That performance in Baltimore. But Steve Greenberg, Greenie Sports Cards, thank you so much for partnering with us. I do want to
very grateful.
I do want to let people know Greenie Sports Cards live every Tuesday at 7 on their social media pages. Their Twitter is tagged in our title here tonight, so make sure you guys go follow them.
That's right on our pinned tweet
yes.
too. So.
Yep. So they'll talk about exclusive hobbies and interviews. Tune in, interact. If you are into sports cards, collectibles, things like that, these guys are they're
the best.
They're the best. And I don't just say that because they're partnering with us now. We've known about you guys for a long time, so go over to greeniesportscards.com and find out where all of their shows are going to be by going to the show tab. Steve, thank you so much for taking time to join us here tonight. Just let the people know more about what Greenie Sports Cards is all about and what you guys do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. When you guys reached out, and obviously we've been watching as well, and you guys were at our show last April. It was a real easy decision to partner together. So we'll get that part, and Pete behind the scenes I've known for a lifetime. So it was perfect. It was an easy yes to come on board and partner with you guys. But yeah, what we do is we buy and sell cards. That's our day-to-day thing. We have eBay. We sell on social media, different social media channels. We put things up for sale. But aside from that, we've kind of branched out into a couple things. We watch what guys like you do, and now we're starting our own little media channel.
Nice.
Where Tuesday nights. Actually, I got the ghost face behind me.
Yeah,
we had Alan Robinson who played the ghost face in Scream 2. He was on last night. So, it's not just sports, but that is the majority of what we do. But we've also branched out to making NIL trading cards, and like Destiny Leo, who plays at Cleveland State, and Reagan Bass, who played at Akron, transferred to Purdue this year, and then Notre Dame in South Bend, we did their women's basketball team last year. So it's things like that we're branching out into, and then of course our trade shows, and the little Kirtland show that we do once a month, all the way up to the Great Lakes Collectors Convention in Independence. And then in 2 weeks, we have, which is why we have the ghost face, we have our Medina County Collectors Fair, which is where pop culture and sports cards collide. And we have 6 horror film actors that are going to be there signing autographs. And it's going to be pretty cool with comic books.
I was reading up on that, and I was bummed. I'm going to be in... I'm going to be happy.
Oh,
I'll be in
so
Aruba.
You're bummed you're getting married.
Yeah, I'll be in Aruba.
I'm so
darn.
bummed I'm getting married.
Yeah, I'm so bummed you're going to be sitting on a beach in Aruba. Well,
I am.
Well, we'll have this show again next year on your anniversary.
Oh, appreciate it. That'll go over swell.
So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. What we do, the main thing, yes, is buying and selling of cards, but we've branched into a couple different departments as well.
So basically, what we're going to be doing for everyone with you is you've given us some cards and some of your Greenies swag to give away. We got some cool bags, T-shirts, some cups.
Hey, they're your cards too.
Yeah, we got a little card pack with all the people who have been at the show, so you get an idea who comes and goes. But we're going to be giving away some really cool cards.
Yeah.
And some of them will be just in an individual that time period. Some of them will be a couple packs with a few of them. But all of them are big-time Cleveland names. And you guys are going to love it.
Yeah, so what I'll do is here, probably starting next week, we'll do our first contest where we'll do it on Twitter, where you'll have to go follow us, follow Greenies as well, and then just comment, share it. And then we'll do some extra entries if you like go subscribe on our YouTubes, ours and Greenie's as well,
Absolutely.
and they just show some proof there. So like Jay said, there's gonna be some really really amazing cards, and we're so grateful, like I said, that you partnered with us and provided us with those that we can share those with our audience because they're really awesome. So
Yeah, well, thanks. That was, one of the things we want to do is obviously the Cleveland Legends.
yeah,
There's no current quarterbacks. There are just Cleveland Legends. So there's some cool stuff, and baseball, football, and basketball is represented. So there'll be some cool cards that people that like to collect and are into the cards, they'll appreciate.
definitely worthwhile. So
Steve, how has the trading card, like the player card, sports card, how has that world changed over the years, but also still remain the same? That people are going out and still getting actual cards, and it's not just something where they pick up a thing in a video game like a virtual card or something like that. They're going out and actually getting these.
And when he's saying like,
Yeah,
I want to know
Yeah.
from like, I was a huge card collector in like the '90s when they're worth nothing. I think they call them the cardboard era or something like that, or the wax paper era or something funny. Yeah, how is it, like, to Kevin's point, from that point to where we are now, it is so different.
It is. Yeah, the 80s and 90s, you're pretty close. The junk wax era is what we call it in
What is
our
it?
world. But junk wax.
Junk
is what they
wax
call it.
makes
Junk
perfect
wax.
sense.
But towards the late 90s, the card companies started to put in chase cards, and it would be real hard to hit some cards. They'd fall like one every 2 boxes or 3 boxes, and right now those cards are actually really valuable. There's some
I remember
really
the
rare.
Flair metal cards they still hold their value from there.
Yeah, Flare Metal is actually probably one of the best ones, and they did an actual chase card where they were bright red or green, and like the Michael Jordan card is a 6-figure card, the red and green ones.
so
But
chase card, you mean just like different variations of the same card, like
yeah,
one of whatever? Okay,
It's a rare, when you
yeah,
say like the rare card, you're chasing it
got it. Okay,
that's right.
from
Yeah,
from
yeah.
ripping.
cool.
From ripping, and then all the way through the 2000s, and we've gone through the ebbs and flows of the economy just like everything else. And then when COVID happened and we were all sitting at home and people decided to go through their closets and like, man, I had cards and this, and uh, we somehow had some extra money, if you remember, and people were online and they're like, you know what, I'm going to finish this set, and they just started buying cards, and then they started buying cards to invest in. And then all of a sudden on CNN, you get some of these people with money, they're talking about cards and the boom of what they're doing. And it just took off again. And cards were a thing. And you had the Gary V's of the world talking about
Right.
cards, and you had other celebrities, and you had Giannis was buying cards. Like, so there's so many people that were out there talking about them. And now the economy is where it is, but cards are still popular, and that's not going to stop until they stop playing sports. People are going to buy cards.
Agreed.
So right, and
I like the big three things. Like, since when I was a kid, you got the internet. That changed everything, obviously, for trading, buying, and all that fun stuff. But they brought the quality of the cards up. Like we said, we had junk wax. They got cards now that got pieces of the jerseys in them and stuff. It is insane what they do with these things now. And
yeah,
it is
cool.
literally like another form of currency in a way, like how Bitcoin is and stuff. Like, it's big time money, and like you said, people will invest so much money and hope that they're going to make this much money on it. But it's all about how you like. It's like stocks. Is a business going to be good or bad? You got to invest like these young players and hope that they develop into these great players that you're going to think they are, and that's how you make. That's what it seems like how they make money.
If that's what people are in it for,
Yeah.
sure, right? It's
Like me, I'm a collector.
buy,
I'm going to buy, and I'm just going to.
that's
keep
right.
them.
You're going to buy listen, Cleveland people have to be collectors because there's no investing in Cleveland football, right? So, but the CJ Strouds of the world, and the Joe Burrows, and
Like Herbert.
it's too
He
bad
was
our
up,
quarterback, but
he's probably down
yeah,
now.
right. And that's how it is. So if that's the route you're going to go, it's tough, right? But there are risks and there are rewards with investing in players if you're in it for the money. If you're in it just for collecting and you collect your teams, whether it's the Browns, Bengals, Milwaukee Bucks, or whoever, there is still that chase to find those special cards of your team and the players that you like.
What are the hot cards right now that people want? Like UFC,
Quarterbacks.
just quarterback still? It's still football?
Quarterbacks are the biggest. UFC is really hot. I'm not well versed in a lot of them, but I know that there's some. And wrestling is real hot right now.
I was gonna
as
say,
well.
where does WWE stand? Because especially like pro wrestling, because it's like the hottest it's ever been, but especially the pinnacle of WWE. When we were in Independence, I saw so many different tables having WWE like big boxes of cards like that. I was gonna say, where does that stand in the echelon?
Yeah, that's huge. And SummerSlam was here in Cleveland. So that was a big deal. But
Yes,
yeah,
it
wrestling
was.
is
Wearing my shirt right now.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, wrestling is really popular. Fan base wise, if you were to just take a poll, it's probably up there with soccer as the most popular in the world.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Is it still a thing?
Huge. I know nothing about it, but it's
Neither
huge.
do I. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I know my nephews were
is.
always like, "Oh, will you buy me Pokemon cards?" And I refused. And they're like, "Why? They're investments." I'm like, "No," because every time I go to your house, I just see cards destroyed all over the place. I'm like, I ain't buying you no damn
It's
cards.
a game, though. That's why
They don't
it's
play
a
the
game.
games. They just bought them to rip it, and they would just destroy them.
Right,
Like,
right.
no, let me get you something more constructive, like
That's-
a football or a basketball or something.
My dad threw all my collections away after I graduated. So.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I'm
That
sorry
had-
for that.
Dad, how
Baseball
many
cards,
times have you
Pokemon
heard that
cards.
story?
Video games, all of it.
Yep. I've heard that one before.
still-
Like, I think all our dads had their cards thrown away, and they are like, "Man, I had cards that we retire on."
it's kind of hurting me to hear that they just like they don't like play the game and they just rip them up and stuff. Like if I wasn't playing around a Pokemon or even Yu-Gi-Oh when that was big, like for just a few years, like if you weren't playing, those were in nice, clean sleeves and keeping those nice and stuff like that.
No.
Steve, what is the highest rated card that you've ever held in possession or at least been involved with Greenie Sports Cards?
I've never had the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle, but I've had a lot of Michael Jordan rookie cards, and it's called the XRC. It's an 84 star. I've had that. I've had Wilt Chamberlain rookies. Well, I shouldn't say it in plural. I've had a Wilt Chamberlain rookie. But yeah, I mean, and I've had 1953. I've had Mickey Mantle from that year, and I've had Jackie Robinson. So yeah, we've had some cards that had some good value.
Now, I'm a big autograph guy. I love collecting autographs. There's also, it's hard to find a good autograph unless you go get it obviously certified or checked out. Have you encountered any autographs on cards that you were really excited about, then found out it was a forgery and was relatively disappointed? Any like super rare ones? You're like, oh wow, maybe I got something here, or is it less prevalent with cards?
No, not on the cards that come out of the packs.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
yeah.
for the most part, those are real.
Sure.
There are stories where Dak Prescott didn't sign his cards or Luka didn't, but for the most part, if you get them out of the packs, you're fine. But
isn't that what the Harrisons are going through right now? Marvin and his dad.
Not that they're not real, but
Right.
the deal that they have with Fanatics or whatever deal they don't have,
Sure.
I don't know, but it's not about their autographs being
Okay.
real or fake. It's if they're allowed to sign the
I see.
cards.
Okay.
But people come with I have a Babe Ruth signed baseball. I personally can't tell you if it's real or fake,
Sure.
but there are companies out there that can. I would not buy one without the proper certification. And I'll plug it at our show in Medina. We have JSA, which is James Spence Authentication. They'll be at the show in Medina
Cool.
to authenticate autographs. But yeah, there are a lot of forgeries out there. So yeah, you just have to be careful with what you buy and you look for the proper certifications. There's a few companies that are very reputable out there. There's a lot that aren't. So, if you get one that says, the Mickey Mouse Club on there, odds are that's not, and
Right.
Mickey Mouse is good, but not in the authenticating of autographs.
My son would love that.
Right.
My 1-year-old would love that.
I heard you mention how you have the Babe Ruth autograph. I always found the stories were funny that you'd hear, and these might be not even true, but I used to always hear anywhere he would go, Babe Ruth would, instead of using cash, would write checks because his signature would be on it. And people would rather than cash the check, they would keep the check because his signature was on that check. And I mean, that's how my friend's bar down in Tremont that he used to go to, Hoach's Cafe, there's a check and he's got it signed up on the thing from Babe Ruth. And I'm like, that is hilarious.
Smart.
Yeah.
So at these shows, I also noticed and picked up that it's not just cards, like Kevin said. Like, there's signed jerseys. I started collecting bobbleheads recently. What is
I got pops.
Yeah, what is your... Well, I was going to let you guys set this up, but y'all announced it. I want to ask you guys, what is your... Outside of cards, as you deal with cards, all that, what's your favorite collectible thing to collect?
So if I were to get an autograph in person myself, I do collect those. On certain items, I don't really have like a certain item that I want, but like, for instance, I when I was a kid, I was at a Cavs game and I happened to be wearing an Auburn jacket, and Charles Barkley pointed at me and I went down, he signed a piece of paper.
Cool.
I have that in my collection. I have other things. When I was in high school, I had a hall pass and Joe Paterno was there recruiting, one of our players. It turned out to went to Penn State, went on to play in the NFL, but I still have the hall pass that Joe Paterno signed. So
autographs.
Yeah, so I collect autographs that I get in person. I don't know that I have ever bought an autograph that wasn't on a card like that I do, normally, but I don't think I've ever bought like a helmet or a ball or anything. It's just if I get it in person.
Nice. How about you, Ryan? You got what's your collecting?
I have a major collection. My wife was mad at me. I think she's gotten over it by now. But yeah, I have autographed Joe Thomas footballs. I have Jim Brown. I have 150 bobbleheads at least. I have Jim Toney bats, and I have a lot of stuff. I have the Cavs. The Browns draft banners and stuff I got. So just some really cool memorabilia and stuff.
And you said you have the Funko Pops, right?
Yeah, the Funko Pops is.
Are those worth? What are those worth?
Probably. I mean, they're probably not worth a lot, but my sister lives in the Seattle, Washington area, and they go up to like the main museum factory of Funko Pop. I think it's Everton, but I can't. It's something like that in Washington, and she actually had them make a personalized Funko Pop of myself and my wife. So like those are like, it's just like $10 things. You go to Box Lunch and they were buy one get one 50% off and only $10. Now they're like you have to go into stores and the lowest price is $30 on those.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone into GameStops and they have like massive ones. It's like huge Wolverine and huge Sabretooth getting ready to fight each other.
LeBron and MJ.
And they're like $100-something bucks, man.
LeBron, the very first one ever made was LeBron. It's the rarest one. I'm looking for LeBron one and then Johnny Manziel. So if you got him, let me know. I'll buy him from you. Not you, anybody.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that they make short printed Funkos just like they do cards.
Right.
And they make different variations, and that's a hot thing. I know that people collect a lot of those, and I know that they like to get the windows signed. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's. I haven't gotten any signed, but I know that's a big deal. I mean, my stash has now become my kid's toy, so I leave them all in the box.
Of course.
We made sure to get a double of one of the Mickey ones that he saw in a store. We made sure to get a double so we could take one out of the box so he can play with it, and then still have one nice.
It's funny. I'm at the gas station. They're selling them, and I'm thinking about. I'm like, I should just grab one, and I'm buying it for Kevin, and I'm like, he doesn't need a toy. I'll buy his kid something. He don't need nothing.
Well, Steve, we really appreciate you jumping on with us. Before you go, you talked about the show in Kirtland. You guys, largest producer of sports and trading shows in Northeast Ohio, 4 locations right now. Talk about that show coming up and where people can find you.
Yeah, so we have a show September 21st in Kirtland at the Senior Center there. We dubbed that show Where Everybody Knows Your Name. We all know that reference from Cheers, but it's a very family-friendly show. It's 40 tables, but people come from all over because it's a very friendly show. And there's a lot of kids there. We do that show every month. A week after that is our big show in Medina that we do with Operation Fandom that has everything from toys to Funkos to bobbleheads to sports cards, of course. That show we do, this will be our second time this year. Next year will be once a year, but that's like 30,000 square feet at the Medina Fairgrounds. So That's coming up the end of September. And then, going into next year, we will have our big signature show again in April, the Great Lakes Collectors Convention. And then we have a few others that we'll announce towards the end of this year. And, we have 4 locations now, but I think there'll be a few more added next year, maybe some even out of state. So
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that.
that's the teaser for the night.
Yeah, GreenieSportsCards.com. Get all the information there. Steve, like we said, we cannot thank you enough for partnering with us. We've worked with you before, but now to make it official and partner with you, we look forward to helping over-deliver and bringing more attention to you guys here with the show.
Go follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, and
YouTube.
the same with us. And we love to share the things that you do, and the podcast is great, and I love listening to it. So, and now watching it. So, yeah, no, this is a perfect partnership, and it was an easy yes, and we're glad to be on board with you guys.
Absolutely. It's Steve Greenberg, Greenie Sports Cards, GreenieSportsCards.com. Get all the information, of course, that show, September 21st. They do it once a month in Kirtland. Steve, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, Steve.